What's up, y'all? So today, again, we are going to talk about, the BS that's going on in our world and all the Matrix level events that just happen on the daily. And at this point, like, what is new? I can't go a day without seeing something pop up and I'm like, oh yes, love the world that we live in. So anyway, if you guys were under a rock or if you were paying attention, you would know that Donald Trump was in fact somehow, some way found guilty of this sexual assault allegation, rape BS nonsense that was going on with this woman who came out of literally nowhere to claim something that they had no evidence for, they couldn't prove, and they somehow found him guilty. Oh, and then get this. Trump owes her some $83 million. I just have to ask one question. Can I come up with a fake graping allegation against someone that I've never met before, get $83 million, and then walk off scot-free? Because I could buy so many performance horses and horse tack with that. I'm just saying.
Sounds about right. Exactly where we're at today in society. Make it up and say it happened to you. And so long as you're charging someone who is right-leaning, conservative,
so long as right-winging, you just have to not like the person. No, it happens to the right-wingers, but
no, because the same things, if somebody were to charge, somebody on the left, let's see, if anyone were to charge Biden or to charge, Obama with he did this to me,
people who Biden touched are old enough to even get out of middle school, let alone have a case like this go to trial.
Fair point. But should you say, okay, Obama did this to me, Biden did this to me, they're going to say, oh, you're just making it up. But no, if you say a conservative person did it to you, then of course we believe you.
That's the reality we live in.
Hypocrisy in our system.
You know what? I think the funny thing about this entire, well, it's not really funny. This is like horrible and so downright just straight up lying and evil. But something interesting about this case was that the dress in question that supposedly he assaulted her in didn't even exist at the time that it happened, which, like, okay, let's look at another example of somebody actually having an assault happen to them with a dress on. Clinton.
I think her name was Monica.
Yeah.
And it was a blue dress.
A little 20-year-old girl.
And we all knew what it looked like.
Yeah, and you know what? She was smart and she saved it. And guess what? Apparently the residues on the dress lasted.
Yeah, but that wasn't rape, though.
It was still an assault with a dress with a woman. That was
just a sexual affair, though. It wasn't assault. I thought it was just sexual affair.
Well, it was
whatever it was.
Allegedly. I don't think that's true.
I'm just making a comparison between the two. That it happened to a Democrat and a Republican, but when it happened, with the Democrat, when that woman, and I don't even think she was a Republican, she was a Democrat because she was on his staff. She had the proof to back it up. Yeah, she was a 20-year-old staffer, but she had the evidence. My point is, with Trump, the dress didn't have nothing on it yet. It didn't even exist. Well, it hadn't come out yet.
You want to hear my theory?
It hadn't been designed yet. Like, it hadn't even, the designer of the dress hadn't even made the dress yet. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, but what's the validity on that story?
Validity?
Thank you. Of that story, though. Is that really real, or is that just a tweet that we all heard? Because I didn't read it.
It's not that hard.
Granted,
to
I didn't do any research into that.
And do the research on when dresses come out. Like, okay, I could think of the one dress that I really love, that Ivanka dress that we got from Belk's years ago that I wore to Teen Pack. When I got that dress, I was so excited because it was from her. I did all the research on when that dress came out, when she designed it, and because she was like a bigger, designer and creator, like there is research, there are, records. Like when it comes to these like fancy people, they keep an inventory of when those things were created / came out. It's not rocket science here. It's not like we're fighting someone for the information. It's out there. Just simple Google search and you're like,
okay, but who cares about the dress? Okay,
well, so I care about the dress. I'm a fashion designer.
Made that up. But the point is, okay, so it had supposedly whatever it was.
Sorry, that's me.
Beep, beep.
Keep going, I'm sorry.
Whatever it was happened more than 20 years ago.
30.
So it's way outside the limit of statute of limitations, whatever. It's way beyond that. And then everybody agreed that Trump didn't rape her. So what is it then? What does Jean Carroll get $83 million for?
For lying? So do we just pay people off for lying?
We do.
Because if so, like, there are so many people who should be paid off then. And I could think of like hundreds of people in Congress who, if this is the standard, then deserve also $83 billion if you get paid now to lie. You know, if I didn't have any morals or values or like care about my dignity, I would do this. A quick $83 million by just making up BS and then spewing it on CNN. And then going on CNN and saying that raping is sexy.
Yeah, it is.
What is wrong with her? Like,
okay.
Well, here's the thing though too, like about that though too, like she couldn't recall
anything.
The date and time. Let me actually pull this up here real quick. So right here, it's got. She didn't recall the date, the month, the season, or the year the incident happened. She never told anybody about it until like later, which even again, the validity of that doesn't really matter. It was over 30, 40 years before, or 30 years before. The dress, like you said, it's the exact same. What is it? The Law and Order things. I don't know if you guys heard about that. The somebody raped somebody in a Bergdorf. It was a Law and Order episode, which happens to be her favorite television show. Which is kind of just interesting, but like,
okay, I could kind of speak on that. Like, I like Law and Order Special Victims Unit. I mean, Benson is one of my favorite TV detectives, and I swear I probably have watched too many episodes about that, but never once have I ever thought rape is sexy. Like, people have that in their fantasies. Like, okay, just being devil's advocate here for a second, though. The fact that she said that, like, getting raped is sexy, this woman might have had something happen to her. It's not Trump, though. Like, we all know that when someone goes down this, like, sexual deviancy route or being a part of the LGBTQ community, like, they were diddled, they were fondled as a child. That very well could have happened to her. And I think that she needs to maybe do a deep dive into her life and figure that out. But coming out and just being like hey, it was Trump.
You don't feel like a victim.
And I don't remember when or where or what day it was or how I met him, but he did it. Like, that...
Well, on that whole rape and sexy, I'm gonna pull up that video. You guys don't have this, but here's this. Let's watch this real quick.
You don't feel like a victim.
I was not thrown on the ground and ravished. Which the word rape carries so many sexual connotations. This was not sexual. It hurt.
Well, I think most people think of rape as it is a violent assault. It is not.
I think most people think of rape as being sexy.
No, we don't.
Let's take a short break.
Think of the fantasies.
What?
What is...
We're going to take a quick break.
Oh, Mom, she's more than sick.
She is sick.
You're fascinating to talk to.
You're fascinating to talk to.
That is my favorite
You don't feel like
part, is you're fascinating. I love, like, that should be a meme. I don't know why that's not a meme.
Fascinating to talk to.
Just the way she says that is so stinking funny. Like,
quotes by Jean
I don't
Carroll.
get it.
Gosh.
But anyway, like the whole.
I think she's been reading too many YA fantasy mafia rom-coms.
Okay, so go to the tab 2. Go to video 2 here. This is her. I'm gonna play this. Make sure you're on mute, by the way, on your computer.
Yeah.
People read an advice column because they want to say, "Oh my God, thank God that's not me."
Oh, I called it. I literally called it. She is one of those dark romance book lovers. Oh.
I like to stay up late. I like to sleep late, and
Yes!
I like to live like
house.
90 in
I
between.
saw this.
I get up
saw
around
this.
noon, and I stagger outside out the
She's
store,
so weird.
and I throw open my arms, and I
What
thank
is
God
it with
I
the
don't
dog?
have children. Then I go back
Gosh, I
in,
have that
stagger
T-set
into my
dog.
office, and start reading a stack of ASCII gene letters. I never thought much went on in the morning anyway. Women have facial...
We're not gonna watch the whole
Okay,
thing.
just stop.
The
Hold on.
whole point is
That
she's
is a
just
nutcase. Wait, what is
on
on
she's
the
just
dog's
a
neck?
weirdo.
She
Like,
lives alone on a small island in the woods of upstate
Burn,
New York.
baby, burn. Oh.
It's just weird.
Okay.
Like she's obviously cuckoo. Like,
Oh my gosh. I know what she reminds me of. Looking at that, I just kept thinking, she sounds, first of all, like Jill Biden when I hear her voice. But second of all,
like Jill Biden or
Jill Biden.
Okay.
Like Jill Biden, Cranky Joe's wife. Okay, but if you guys have been on TikTok, have you guys ever heard of a woman called the Vegan Teacher? That
think I've
vegan
heard of
teacher.
her,
Okay,
yeah.
so she's viral on TikTok for being like this crazy vegan lady, and literally the only reason she has a following is because everybody's like, "You're wackadoo." Like she is like a PETA crazy, like my dog eats vegetables kind of person, but she has the exact same vibe as this lady. Like kooky, crazy. You question their sanity, like that.
Well-
but I literally called it. She is a dark romance, like BDSM reader. Look at those books. Zoom in on the books.
Zoom in on the titles.
The title of this book is "Do Me."
I don't know what you're looking at.
I'm
not
looking
seeing
at
your
the
screen.
video and the clips
There's a
of the
stack.
video. There's a stack of books. I'm reading the titles.
Gotcha.
And that one, sexual what ifs, like invocation.
I think she's living out her fantasy right now is what she's doing. She's an
okay.
attention
Some people
seeker.
actually do have rape fantasies though.
Well,
That's
Okay,
a
well,
thing.
she must
mean,
if she's talking about
not to
what
be
you just
crude, but
said.
that is like a.
Okay, that
It
is
is.
sick.
That's a
That
fantasy
is.
that
to
people
show-
have. Like if you
For
like,
both sides, it's a thing for both men and women. For not everybody. I'm sure it's a niche thing. But it's like the feet. It's their own like.
You would not believe though how big that like group of people is though, and I'm just speaking.
I don't
from,
know how
like,
big the group is. I don't know. But
No,
it's-
I do. That's where I'm coming from. I come.
What do you mean? you're
Okay,
coming
can
from?
I explain, please,
Wait,
Barry?
you go and view the rape fantasies.
Okay, I'm an avid reader. This year so far, it's January 29th today. I've probably already read 8 books. Okay? When you go on like online forums, there are entire categories for BDSM and rape fantasies, specifically with like mafias and like
That's
Really
sick.
weird.
exophilia, which is the idea of having like sexual relationships with like a monster. Like this group of people is huge. And interestingly enough, a lot of the readers are a part of the LGBTQ community.
Well, that would make sense then because their mind is already very confused.
It's very
and
degenerate.
It's yeah.
I'm not
I was
saying
being
that
kind.
it's a
I was being kind saying confused, but degenerate.
Oh,
is
I'll
more
say
accurate.
degenerate. I don't care.
well, I'm just saying this is a very large population of the book community. People have actual fantasies about this, and there are actually forums where you can meet up with people who will help you do said fantasies.
Fulfill
Yes.
that.
But
That's just
Yeah.
sick.
But about this situation though, like.
Okay, I take back what she said. She wasn't fondled as a kid. She just has a fantasy, and
Well-
Oh,
picked
she
the
could have
right
been
person.
fondled as a
We
kid
don't have
too,
any
who
idea
knows?
what happened to her in a child, especially to make her want to be alone, have no kids, just have her dog. I mean, that's
Some women just.
Well, here's
that's the new thing. to
This
do,
is my
so
biggest thing here
living
is too.
alone,
Okay,
not
so
having
on the
kids.
first tab here. Okay. Let's listen to this real quick.
Really important in all of this, and it's the fact that New York passed this law.
Yeah.
The Adult Survivors Act. They passed it just a few years ago. Were it not for that law, you never would have been able to bring this case. And I just think it speaks to the importance for a lot of other survivors.
Exactly.
Where'd her
This
red
would
hair
never,
go?
I would never have this window, this year, of having the ability to bring a lawsuit for rape. Robbie can explain.
See, so
I'm gonna.
they literally changed the law
Okay, but
in
I
order
kind of
because they had to
agree
get
with
past
that,
the
though.
statute of limitations.
Okay, but I agree with that.
Well, I'm saying
There
like
shouldn't be
this,
a statute of limitations on rape. I don't think there should be. A crime is a crime. It doesn't matter if it's 10 years or 30 years down the road. Wait, how come just recently, last year,
I kind of
November,
agree,
Barry,
like,
November,
I
they
kind of agree.
sentenced another Nazi general. The dude was 103 and they sentenced him.
I
Like,
kind of
I don't think
I'm
crime
all
has
for
an
that,
expiration date.
but like the issue is like that's in a criminal trial. This isn't. This was a civil case. They couldn't do criminal because they specifically
was-
said we don't
There's
have
no
enough
evidence.
evidence.
there was no crime.
I don't get that. Like, I've done mock trials before and I've studied law. I still don't truly understand. Like, okay, so there's not enough evidence to go to a criminal case, so we go to civil so we can, like, get around it without being able to provide reasonable doubt. That's the whole thing. Reasonable doubt.
Well, that's my
I don't
own
get it.
opinion. Is I don't understand how they can actually do that. Obviously, they changed the law and they're doing kind of shady things to mess with her.
It's New York. What did you expect?
But like, and then on top of everything, like the woman had no proof whatsoever of meeting him other than a picture from apparently the 80s, years before. He was a celebrity forever.
I'm
But,
gonna
it,
go
but
on a limb here,
if that's the
but-
new standard, though,
Wait, I have
then
pictures with so many other political officials. I could,
Ooh.
if I had no morals, I could do that in a freaking heartbeat. Because you know what? I have the clothes that I met them in. I still own those because I hate getting rid of stuff.
Well, it's like the tweet.
But I mean, this opens up the basket for, or whatever you want to say, for anybody to come
I have a picture
after.
with Pence.
Yeah. Pence.
I met him for all of, 2 seconds as he signed my baseball cap, but I have a picture with him. If I decide one day I'm a little broke and I'm a little bit, skimping on cash, like...
This tweet, though, named if a billionaire raped me 7, bring up a dress I want, with no tangible evidence.
Right?
Tweeted that.
I want to know. Can I?
Good tweet.
I'm going to say here, though, going out on a limb here, looking at this crazy lady and watching that video of her, Donald Trump, listen, he's got standards, and his standards are supermodels, and even the supermodels to him are Miss Piggy.
I think I saw someone tweet that.
I'm just saying that she ain't, like, look at his wife. Look at Melania, okay? That's Trump's standards. She look... This, on CNN, she actually looks like a decently nice older woman. But that video of her with the crazy red hair and the dog with the mohawk, like, she looked mental. That was not someone Trump would go after. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I have no idea. It's
regardless,
all...
our justice system, or whatever you want to call it, is broken because those jurors who agreed to this,
that was the thing.
Were they paid off?
The first jury said that they couldn't find him guilty, and that's why they went civil.
Well,
a liberal jury in New York decided that.
And the reason why they went civil is because it's less.
They need less proof.
Exactly, less proof.
So
exactly.
Which
is insane.
They lower the standards for what needs to be met.
And then also, like, the worst part was what was it? They were they were asking for like 10 million, and the judge ended up giving them 80. Like,
I want to know
how in the world do you get that much of an increase? Like,
are judges' income records public? Are they?
Know.
Because I want to know if that judge ends up, getting on a yacht within the next 6 months. I'll raise it to 83. You give me like 50 of it. You keep the extra 20 for yourself.
It would be so good to know what was happening behind the scenes. And also, what is that judge's voting record? Because is he looking at this as, I have the opportunity to screw
Trump?
Well,
so like,
apparently, you guys know who Patrick Bet-David is? He's a pretty big political commentator. He's a multimillionaire.
What'd he say?
He's an insurance guy, but anyway, he's really big in the political community too. They have their own pretty big pocket, but they brought it up, and they actually found that he has ties where he let. I don't know exactly the ties, but it was something like the ties of Prince Andrew, letting him off, dismissing him, to go to a different trial. But this is the judge apparently. Who was like stricter or not as strict on other people who actually have way more evidence against them.
Are we shocked?
With this, but I'm just saying, like, again, don't quote me 100% on that.
Well, I mean, that would make sense.
I remember hearing that going on. I don't know. It's
they don't get punished for nothing. Like, to be a nepo baby in politics, like, geez Louise. I'm curious, though, totally random side note, what this chick is going to do with $83 million. She lives in the middle of nowhere in a shack in the woods that she calls the mouse house and says weird things like, do me, and paints burn, baby burn on the microwave. Like, this is just a kooky lady. What? 83 million? Why? How?
I don't know.
Moving on, like, good lord.
Yeah, it's all insane. Anyway, so how about the border? But like, new
day, another million.
Did you guys see what Ken Paxton said? But basically, Ken Paxton, the Attorney General of Texas, basically denied the Bidens' like request to do anything.
Can an Attorney General get impeached twice? Because they're gonna do it to him again.
He was never impeached, though.
Well, they were going after.
You're right. He was impeached. He wasn't convicted.
Well, neither was Trump.
Well, that's what I mean. That's
Same
what I'm
boat.
pretty sure that's what impeachment. Just bringing charges again. Anyway.
I'm just asking because after this, he's got time.
Well, I find it. I really like the fact that he's like Ken Paxton saying pretty much F you.
Thank God he is, because we can't
it.
trust Abbott to.
Well, Abbott's apparently doing it too.
Abbott.
He's actually doing.
Oh,
Well,
whoop-de-doo. 2024. Where was this back in 2020? Cry me a river. Like.
Okay, so I guess we can go with the theory of better late than never. So Abbott is finally deciding to protect our border.
Oh, yeah, because, as history shows, I'm sure those 6 million Jews are like, oh, yes, better.
Fair point.
Well, it's better for the.
Better late than never.
It's better for the
guys.
remaining surviving Jews. Like, if you really want to talk about, like, it's great that we finally got to the point.
How come we live in a society, though, where it's like, we have to let people, like, learn on their own and, like, let history just repeat? Like, we can't stop it because that would be infringing or we would hurt their feelings. Like, so we have to wait until 6 million Jews die. We have to wait until we have an invasion on their southern border. We have to wait until... How many kids my age, young girls, have to be, like, raped and murdered by illegals who have been deported up to 10 times and keep coming back before we go, maybe we shouldn't let this keep happening?
This video, though, too, of documentary video of Ruck.
Okay.
Shannon, you sent... I watched the whole thing. It was basically... these three guys or two guys.
I'm guessing there's probably two in a camera.
Might have been two or three dudes. It basically did like the whole entire migration.
It was fascinating.
Yeah, and basically they talked about everything. Like right here, it says that crossing the Darien Gap, discovered secret Chinese hotels, which I found extremely insane.
Oh, are we shocked?
I was very shocked.
Hotels where the Chinese hung out at in their route going north. And then how insane was it that there were all the maps printed by the NGOs and all these beautiful maps that say, this is the route to get to America, going through all these countries. I mean, this is a world issue.
Keep going through America until you get to Canada. Stop up there.
No, don't even come to our border. Go away. We do not need you to come across our border. If you're going to come to our border, how about you cross at the checkpoints instead of these maps that are showing them where to cross in all these other random places?
On this map that I'm showing right now, you have America, then you have Mexico, then you have Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica. They go through 4 or 5 different countries who come here. Everyone who always says you need to seek asylum.
Well, why don't they go and get asylum in any of those countries?
Exactly.
Why don't they
asylum
just stop?
Asylum by definition is you go to the nearest neighboring country that can take you.
You don't go.
You don't go
Atlantic
7
Ocean.
countries away. And then the whole China thing too is.
No, they have to go across the Atlantic Ocean. I hate to break it to y'all, but China ain't connected to us yet.
Well, that's for China. I'm talking about all these Hondurans and stuff like that too. But I mean, but for the whole China aspect of, like, it's insane that there are actual like little towns that are sitting there housing Chinese people, all in Chinese. If you watch this documentary, basically, it's really interesting. I think everyone should.
To that, everyone, it's about.
I'll put it in the description.
Sure. It is an amazing video.
I mean, it's 40 minutes long, but it's so good. Like,
are they gonna end up like dead
and you know what they do
soon or something?
Who, the guys who made that video?
Yeah, just like
they were captured by the cartel at the end when they were actually within eyesight of the American border. That's when they were captured by the cartel. And
at what point do we shoot?
Shoot what?
Like,
Savannah, all they had on them was all their camera equipment and everything.
Just to preface this, I'm not talking about when the kids and women come over, which, by the way, the women and kids who do come over are usually slaves, sex slaves to be particular, specific. But I'm talking like, okay, in any other time in history, when a mass amount of men charged a border, you usually shot at them because they weren't here to.
Well, we're not at war, Savannah.
Are we?
So, no, we're not at war. I understand what you're saying, but we're not there yet.
Oh, we're not there yet.
That's because Savannah, they're not crossing the border with their, various.
Is the lucky number like 6 million? Yeah, like so 6 million kids need to die from opioids, or 6 million kids need to get sex trafficked, or 6 million kids need to be brutally raped and murdered by an illegal.
So can we do this first before we get to actual god awful scenarios of having to shoot people? Can we just close the border?
Oh, that would be.
No, that
Can
would
we
make
just
too much
can we
sense.
not allow people to come illegally? I'm not talking about closing the border as in like coming through a point of entry, where you're
usually
legally
the one
doing
that's
it.
like DEFCON 10 in punishment.
Okay.
You're like.
Say what now?
I said you're usually the one that's like DEFCON 10 when it comes to punishing criminals.
Okay, you do
You
have
were
the-
the one.
I
You literally
understand.
talked about stringing kids up for
When you know
murdering
for
people.
a fact that some dude ran over some dude and laughs about it in court, yes, they need to be hung up, hung publicly.
Bring back what they did in the
Yes.
Caribbean
Okay,
to
but
pirates.
this is
because-
different,
focus,
though.
But focus, because Muckraker in that Muckraker.
That's gonna get clipped, by the way, and be terrible.
Okay, so here is a point. In the end of his video, he talks about a new term we all need to get familiar with, and it's called replacement migration.
Yes.
And so I guess in year 2000, a whole bunch of people got together. Who knows? It's probably the big important people in our society. And they talked about how there were 5 different plans of how they can change the makeup of America. And plan number 5 was if you let a certain number of million illegals across the border every year, then by the year 2050, there's what it says: 73% of Americans will be either illegals or descendants of illegals. And so that's what they want right now, right? What they're trying to do right now is to change the makeup of our country. And so by allowing these mass number of people to come across, and for all the people who have their head in the sand and they say, well, we're putting them on the bus and we're sending them to New York. Well, hello, fine, send them to New York, send them to Chicago. But guess what that ends up doing?
That's what they want.
That's going to change the makeup of the Electoral College as well, right? Because when we do the next census and we see, okay, where are people where?
Dumb. I'm pretty sure they know that.
Oh, it's all part of a plan. They want to change.
Well, people are dumb.
Politicians.
The average voter's dumb. The politicians know what's going on.
So replacement migration. So you, Barry, you're a white guy. They want you out of here. Savannah, white Christian female. They want you out of here.
I don't think it's about a color thing. I think it's more of values.
It's voting.
I think it's values they want to get rid of.
There are no values.
No. Well, my point being is I think they want to get rid of a freedom-loving patriot American.
Right. And if we're at 73% illegals who, they, in the past, years ago when people came to America, they tried to, They tried to take on the American dream. Whereas now when people come across, they want to stay their own, we have all these separate groups. Instead of everybody coming together, everyone has their own
Because they want to live in
identity.
America, but they want to have like what's it called? Like, it's not unity, it's the patriotism of their own country.
Patriotism. But they want to live under
have
the
you seen
identity
when they
of
come
their
over
own
here
country.
from Mexico? They are proudly toting their Mexican flag, and
Yeah.
they are screaming, like, you love it so much. Hey there.
I agree.
It's crap. They like what they can get from America, but they want the patriotism of their own country, which isn't how America works. You leave, you come here, you support where you are. I mean, not to totally change the subject, but like that's like the classic case of Ilhan Omar. Like, she still says that her loyalty lies with Somalia and that she will do everything in her power to get Congress to do what the Somalians want, to expand Somalian territory. She literally said that is Congress's main interest the other day.
How did the people of that area actually?
Because they're all
elect
Somalian.
her?
That area of Minneapolis, heavily, oh yeah, and
Yeah.
Muslim. That's why she's got. I mean, she's been pretty clear. Lives here, literally a Congress.
Well, we all know
making
that
six
she
She's
likes-
getting
figures.
all the benefits of living here.
She's making six
Right.
figures a year because.
Well, I think if there's one place she likes, it's Alabama.
Explain to people why.
She married her brother to get him citizenship, y'all. Like, gross.
That is very insulting to all the people in.
I'm sorry, it's a stereotype, and
It is a total
Alabama
stereotype.
is known for it. Just like, sucks to suck, but That's their stereotype. Our stereotype is that everything is bigger and better here.
Anyway, so what do you guys think gonna happen with Biden? Do you think he'll actually do anything? Do you think, because there's been talks about nationalizing?
Do it.
No.
I freaking dare him. Please.
No, because our people right now in DC are coming up with some plan where they're all going to go along with Biden, where they're making some deal that they're going to approve, however many million illegals
the
can
improvement.
come across the border.
I think it's 5,000 a day.
Illegally every year, because
Correct.
all of our people in DC hate Trump so much that they want to give Biden this win of fixing the border by still allowing the illegals to cross. I mean, how insane is that? You know what? Biden can just go put all of the illegals in his house.
No.
Not the White House.
They don't want to go there. They don't want to get sexually assaulted. I find it interesting, though. Last night when I was scrolling on TikTok, somehow, someway, Harry's live came up, and I didn't open it, but you can still see it when it shows there.
Harry?
Harry.
Headline Harry.
Yeah, that dude, that little kid. Harry. He was doing a live about Trump's about border policy versus Biden's, and he was talking about how Trump was anti-Semitic, it was, racist, and it didn't have the best interests of America, and Biden's policy is for the people, and it's just been so good, and I'm just like,
when did people go so blind? When did they
just literally look at the border, look at the videos? You don't even have to do research on it. Just Google a video.
It's out of sight, out of.
Literally,
it's like people are truly blind. It's like
No, it's ignorance.
Okay, ignorance is bliss, but then we're looking at the exact same thing, and they don't see that this is a problem.
Mom,
does
they
anybody
look at a man and tell us that it can get pregnant? I don't see how we're shocked.
I mean, do people like going to the airports and seeing
camps,
hallway after hallway lined up with cots and behind curtains that say, "Stay away, do not cross the curtain," because, God forbid, we have borders in the airports for our illegals to sit behind, but we can't even have a border on our own country. I mean, a country is not a country if it doesn't have a border, but yet in our own airports, we set up little places for all of these illegals to sit.
I just think it would be a lot better if we just went into martial law, or back in 1886, Western America. Someone insults.
So are you supporting?
Wife.
Are you supporting full on authoritarian dictatorship?
Dictatorship.
That's what I'm asking you right now. Is that what?
I don't want a dictator. In fact, I don't want particularly anybody.
Martial law would mean a dictator.
Okay, maybe I didn't mean martial law. Okay, I just mean Wild West. Just someone steals your cattle.
You want anarchy?
Yes, I want anarchy. Insert the meme here of the little kid going, "Anarchy!" I don't even know what that means, but I love it. Okay, it's fine,
it's a meme. Haven't seen everything.
All I'm saying is, we literally just sit around and we just talk. I mean, look at what we're doing right now. We're having a podcast talking about it, but the people who actually can legally make a difference don't want to because it benefits them. And the people that it screws over, all we can do is chit chat about it and be miserable about it, and quite frankly complain and be like, "Y'all, you're screwing us over. I didn't ask to be done to like this," and we can't do jack diddly squat. The only thing we could do is control our own lives and actions, and the actions I kind of want to take is freaking anarchy. I have castle doctrine in Texas. Everybody leave me alone. Stay away. Don't come near me because I can't trust anybody.
On that part. About the whole Republicans aren't doing anything. This Carrie Lake situation. Here, actually, I'll pull this up a little quick.
Is there a number at which
So she secretly recorded this.
That's what it's about.
you can take a pause for a couple years?
No.
And then go right back to what you're doing.
No.
Just go away for
10 million, 20 million, 30, no. A billion, no.
Good for her.
This is not about money. This is about our country.
The dude has
I think it's disturbing
eyes.
that they would even,
Wit.
that anybody would
Bears
think
on a
this is.
Republican
No, to be fair,
Jeff
even me,
DeWitt.
I'll say this. I want a fresh face right now for the reason that I've never seen anyone, I can't think of a single person in a federal race who lost, ran in and won? I can't think of it. If you can think of it, let me know.
I am not going to let these people who hate our country tell me not to run. You should call them and tell them to get behind me.
All right, well, we're gonna stop there because that goes on for like 10 minutes.
What did he say though? He wanted a fresh face.
He was just encouraging her to take a break, go work on a board of some big company who would pay her a ton of money.
Not even go work on a board. Just sit at home and get millions of dollars because a company will pay her.
Well,
basically, ultimately, that's what
you're
he's
right. It was
offering.
something like that, like where she would just go away for a little while.
That is my biggest issue. Is this guy is the lead,
and he's a Republican.
Well, that's what I mean.
That's not a Republican.
Like
that's a rhino. That's a dickless.
No, and that's my
right
problem.
there.
I've told you guys this before. Is I believe the Republicans and Democrats are two sides, the same exact coin. There's no difference whatsoever.
I've said that forever. They all freaking suck.
They all are working together.
It's
They're not working for a people. I think that like this whole Trump thing of America First movement, that's kind of what it's turning into.
Pissed them off.
It's not really a MAGA thing anymore. It is becoming like an America First, like, and I think Carrie Lake's a part of that. I think Vivek is a part. As in, but these people are working together. That's why all these stupid bills keep passing, because instead of actually fixing the problem, stopping illegal immigrants, what we're doing is, we're gonna, allow 5,000 in a day.
They want the problem.
They want the problem because they can't get their votes if they're racist.
Right.
So
again, this is why I said what they used to do when they had a corrupt politician. They actually did this throughout many different cities. They used to they had lots of great torture. Them up by their toes, public execution. Like, you want to be a corrupt piece of crap in politics at the expense of your people.
Tar and feather.
Should we bring it back? It stopped a lot of redcoats and freaking.
It's kind of barbaric though. We're a little better than that.
Are we? Very. Don't pretend like we're better. We're not. We have a culture that craves violence and destruction and wants to see it happen because it benefits the person that they want it to. Abso-freaking-lutely. We literally have an entire generation, Barry, that fetishizes and uplifts as this somehow holier than thou tradition of murdering your child because, go live it up, girl. Pate. And then we have another entire generation that is literally fiending off of the violence, the death, the gore. Oh my gosh.
I just think we can do better.
Example. Okay,
I just think we can do
everyone
better.
could do better, but it's not. It's not getting better. I was at the playground last night with my 3 friends.
And that's where you have me. That's where you got me. I agree with you.
Well,
I do agree. Like I told you, I'm the person who wants crazy capital punishment. People who are 100%.
Well,
but
I'm just saying, you think there's hope? I was at the playground. We were at the swings last night. We just got dinner. We were all hanging out, and this kid comes to the playground and starts talking to us, and he was fascinating, but this kid starts talking about his school and about the transitioning that's going on in there, and the school counselors pushing
bye, Shannon.
Bye, Mom.
She's got to go.
And talking about how, they want them to take the blockers or they want them to go use the bathroom, and how there are girls in the guys' bathrooms and just all this crazy stuff. And we're just sitting there with our mouths open about how much this 10-year-old knows. And he is describing in great detail everything from GTA to BDSM to sexual fetishes. And we're just kind of standing there stunned as this 10-year-old's on the swings next to us explaining to us about how his middle school works. And that's in my town. These are kids right next door to us. This isn't happening just, in little spots in blue states with blue governors and blue cities. This is happening freaking everywhere.
Well, it's a generational thing. Not a generational society problem.
Again.
But again, this whole point but to bring back to this though too, Republicans are no better whatsoever.
I never said
why do we keep I'm not saying you, I'm saying in general
I'm not a Republican.
I'm saying for our audience, I'm saying why in the world do we keep voting for these? Obviously, this guy.
For lesser than the two evils, I would take
but
a slightly corrupt Republican over a Democrat who does it out in the open. I know I said this the other day. Is still evil.
But this dude here, the Jeff guy, is
Jeff DeWitt is what his name is.
Move back, please. I've already got 30 off whack. But no, this guy He is the head of the GOP in Arizona. He ended up resigning because of this.
I gotta
But
say, he's got shifty eyes.
what about everyone else? If he's got all this like bribery, what about other people? Like everyone else is bribed, like, and we're all okay with this as Americans.
You know, I kind of want to be bribed. Like, there was that dude on TikTok, the one who I think we did a reaction talk about it, but he was the one who was just like ranting in the car. He's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, but literally I can't afford to eat. This is insane." And then he did that video about how CNN and the DOJ and a bunch of other people came up to him and was like, "How much? How much to make one
They offered him
good
50
video?"
grand.
Yeah, to make a video about Biden. I just and the only reason you even hear about this with
You can
DeWitt
chill.
and him
We
is
can, we can
because
do a pro Biden video if you want. And just
I don't want to do a pro Biden video. I just want someone to try, because like you see all of these, you know, these videos, these audio clips, you know, what was it? Veritas Press. They did all of the, you know, the undercover stings. Like,
yeah, James O'Keefe. Yeah.
yeah, I kind of want it to happen to me one day, you know, because like censorship, for example, I never truly understood the extent of it until it truly happened to me, and I was like, oh crap, this is what people are talking about. Like, good lord, oh my Lanta, what is happening? Same thing with this. I don't know. Yeah, I think your phone.
But yeah, so
Are we really like shocked at this point? Like, oh wow, another one try to come out and, you know, bribe. Oh wow, another sexual rape, assault, civil case that literally had nothing, no grounds to stand on. It couldn't even afford, you know, a one by one square foot plot of truth to his name, because and it's like what my mom said, like literally right in front of their faces. It is right there. Does anyone care? No. Who does? Nobody. Like, Saturday Night Live, you know, like it's like you're looking at the same thing, but somehow we come up with different outcomes. How? Men are men, women are women. Men and women can have children together, but a Democrat will look at those exact same things and say, nah, that man right there is a woman. It has now an opinion about abortion.
Well, what happens
also,
is,
it can get abortions?
I mean, there's so much double standards. Just going to the next topic, because I mean, I think. So,
Already dead.
Savannah, do you watch SNL?
I could care less.
Okay, I'm sure you've seen.
Yes.
Or
On
not, maybe
TikTok
not watched a full
randomly.
episode, but SNL has been a huge culture thing for 30 years. It is pretty big. But the best part here is Weekend Update, which is basically just like a comedy newsroom, and these guys actually do a really good job. In my opinion, the best part of SNL, only part of SNL I actually like now.
I have seen this.
Sure.
side.
Well, this is the reason why I bring this up is they roasted Donald Trump. Okay,
Roasting.
understandable, fine. Here, let me play the clip.
Oh, yeah,
We'll
just
talk about it after.
Did have a slight stumble this week while talking about banks, and he
Slight
introduced
stumble.
an interesting new term called debank.
We're also going to place strong protections to stop banks and regulators from trying to debank you. They want to debank you, and we're going to debank.
I don't know what the hell debank means, but he might have to take de-ambulance to see the doctor.
the ambulance. Oh,
See, okay, I kind of find it funny. It's good writing if it was not a thing. I mean, it's a real thing, the banking.
Yeah.
Like, it's where
So why
people
were they
actually
making
literally
fun
get
of him
debanked.
for having a larger vocabulary.
Well, that's what I
than
mean. Like, the problem is these guys refuse to even like a simple fact check.
It's
And
not
it wasn't
even a
just
fact
these guys.
check. Open a dictionary.
Well, it's just a Google search. But the problem is
Just
they
type
have writers.
in debank.
He has several
comes up.
writers. It's not just him. Like, there's multiple people that did this joke, and it went through a whole week of like testing and run through with each other.
Yeah, I'm well aware
well,
none of them had the brains.
It's
to
just
figure out
ridiculous
that
how out of touch these people.
it really shows that they were public schooled, because let me just tell you, I have a larger vocabulary than most people, and I will use words and I will get corrected. They're like, that's not a word. And I'm like, yep, Merriam-Webster dictionary, go look it up. It's a word. Like, the first one that comes to my mind right now is the word sardonic. Sardonic. Can you tell me what that means, Barry?
I have no idea what sardonic.
Okay, well, everyone corrects me. They're like, do you mean sarcastic?
That's what I was thinking.
No, I meant sardonic, which means being like mocking or cynical, or you're being facetious.
Satirical almost.
Yeah, facetious. There's another word. Like, I will get corrected on it, and I'm like,
yeah, but
no, some people just have a larger vocabulary and they know words. Trump is one of them. You don't get to be a multi-billionaire in the
let's be real.
estate
Debank is not a really
development.
huge word.
Debank?
It's more of an action. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but it kind of I would trust the guy who has, been involved with the realtor and the financial side of being able to run multi-billion-dollar industries. I would trust him knowing what the word debank means than I do a random Saturday Night Live comedian who, if I passed on the street, I wouldn't know who the HE double hockey sticks it was.
Well, again, my main issue is this. The reason why I wanted to talk about this story was they attacked Trump.
What? Are they going to go after Biden?
But they aren't going to attack Biden. So where in this same week, so here's this video.
Literally 5 seconds in, he was like,
he had a little
literally
this last week on the 25th that he did this.
Play it.
The beer brewed here, it is used to make the brew beer in this refinery. Oh, Earth Rider, thanks for the Great Lakes. I wonder why it's called. The beer.
The worst part there is everyone starts laughing.
It's because you don't know what to do.
What are you, I don't know if that's what they're doing. Are you trying to give them the benefit of the doubt that they don't know what to do, that they just...
I would. I just kind of go...
I wouldn't laugh at the... No, it was like he told a punchline.
Okay, I would awkwardly laugh because I'm kind of like...
Well, awkwardly laugh again, but I think these people are just mindless drunk.
Oh, they are, absolutely.
Who just will do anything. But like my point is like...
If Trump was as stupid as that and had like that many verbal... I don't even...
Gaffes.
You can't even call them slip-ups. A slip-up is saying Pacific instead of specific. Guilty, done that, been there. You get on to me for it all the time. This dude can't coherently string together a tangible sentence. It's not English. I don't know what he's speaking. Maybe Ferb Latin. I don't know.
Well, and then there's this one too. There's another clip here. This is also last week.
We'll teach Donald Trump a valuable lesson. Don't mess with the women in America unless you want to get the benefit.
And don't mess with
them. Valuable lesson. Don't mess with the women in America unless you want to get the benefit.
Don't mess with the women of America unless you want to get the something of the benefit. What does that even mean?
I think he said don't mess with the women in America if you don't want to get the benefit. Which, okay, taking that into context, he was...
Don't mess with the women in America unless you want to get the benefit.
Okay.
Unless you want to get a benefit.
Okay. So in that video, he's standing in front of a crowd of women that that say the pro-choice, blah 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 blah, whatever. Okay, so if he's in context referring to like defending choice, what? So messing with the women of America benefits you what? Sexual pleasure? Is that what he's saying?
Well, and
that's what it sounds like.
And this is the same thing. They're cheering for him like he said something that they know what he said. I don't get it, but this is my point: is SNL makes fun of Donald Trump for using a word that they don't know, but they don't mention anything about these two gaffes that happened this last week. They could have easily, these two things were teed up where they could have made fun of him for.
It sounds like all those little kids that you like. It sounds like that kid who his dad is trying to get him to say, "Mama, Dada." And then he said some long word. He said hippopotamus. And the kid goes, hippopotamus. Like, it's a little, little 2-year-old kid. Like,
yeah, well, your
this
mom
is a... What?
Send us this
How
video.
old is
Let me
he?
pull it up.
70 something? How old is Biden? Hold on.
But here's this. This is what your mom said.
Yep. Yes.
So this is Biden speak. Like,
Oh, yes, the Biden translators. You know what? Maybe that's why he likes being around little kids and sniffing them so much, because they're the only ones who can understand him. I'm just saying, though. Also, just so everyone's aware, Biden is 81 years old. He was born in 1942. Just for context, we went to World War II in 1941. Um, 77. Yes, but at least, okay, I'm just gonna say this. At least Trump, is somewhat in touch with reality. He's got a 17-year-old kid, for crying out loud. He's tall as a freaking
that's because he's
tree.
a multi.
No, I'm just speaking. If my mom was here, she would confirm with me. But when you're older and you have a child, you kind of stay in touch with reality a bit more because you have a child involved in pop culture. That's like our world that we fiend on. Like, my mom used the word no cap and slay and that's lit the other day. I do not speak those words at all. The only reason she knows them is because my 16-year-old brother said them. And you know what? She stays involved because I have a younger brother who's involved in that. Don't let him know I just said that because he will take offense to that. But that's beside the point.
I don't know. I find the hypocrisy insane. Again, I don't get it.
I'm more concerned with what he said, because what is that saying that a drunk man's words are a sober man's thoughts? I think that applies to like somewhat of like dementia as well. Joe Biden, like, you can interpret whatever that rambling speech was however you want, but it sounded like what he was trying to say was, if you mess with the women of America, you're gonna reap the benefits.
But that doesn't make any sense.
It does for a rapist. I'm just saying, you mess with a woman, you grape her, you
reap the benefits of what you're. I mean, that's not obviously clearly that's not what he was saying.
It's terrible, but
not
that's,
saying. I think you're reaching way too much.
I'm just saying, the man. Wait, how am I reaching? His own daughter journal, her diary, admitted to the fact that her dad was taking showers with her long past her teenage
But again,
years.
he's not. This is a speech.
Yeah, and the dude has dementia. He doesn't really know what he's saying or when he's saying it. He very well could be thinking back to something from the 70s.
I
And he doesn't
don't even
know.
think he's actually in.
He's not. I am simply pointing out that it is wildly convenient that they can just, pull the, oh, well, actually, I haven't even heard really any excuses for him recently.
Well, they're gonna get rid of him. They're gonna bring in.
I haven't heard a single.
It looks like they're gonna bring in Michelle.
Any reason for him messing up recently?
Well, they're gonna bring in Michelle apparently.
A what?
Michelle Obama. Anyway, that's still. All right.
Strange.
Well, we're just rambling on now, so.
Michelle Obama. He be the first woman in that? Allegedly. All I'm gonna say is there's a certain video on the Ellen show, DeGeneres, where something's swinging in her pants, and I'm pretty sure it's not her wallet. Whatever, though. Anyway, I think we have about wrapped up today for this podcast segment with Mama and Berry. And I think we're going to close it with this. Peace.